We back! We're live. 2D podcast with a special guest, and it ain't this dog, baby. We got our boy, Cebs.
First guest of the season. First
Big
guest
time.
on video.
First guest on video. We're happy to have him. He's happy to be here. Hey. Every Friday, you guys know the fucking vibe. YouTube, Anchor, Spotify. I'll let you do it.
TikTok.
Woo!
When this episode is released, the first TikTok should be out. Our TikTok page is up at 2D Podcast. Same.
We got
as
that
our
logo, or we got that tag.
Yep. At 2D Podcast.
Love
we got the tag. So same username as the Instagram. Give it a follow, and check out our videos.
Mm-hmm. Paul is our editor in chief.
Well, all right, but he's the editor in chief for the YouTube, so it's like.
It is what it is.
I'll be running the TikTok page, but please comment, comment, and if you come from TikTok, because we might have new traction, give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, and leave a like, comment. We want comments. We take suggestions, anything. Week. So, yeah.
Well, before we get into Cebs and obviously introduce him and everything, every episode, every week, you guys know the vibe. What we do here, we fucking drink brews. And this week we got something special to go along with the theme of the podcast. So, as always, we got to check the chest. And we have, I don't want to botch it, so Cebs, why don't you go ahead and pronounce this?
So this is a special brand out of Japan. Not too special. In Japan it's pretty common, but this is Kirin Ichiban. This is kind of a premium beer. Pretty nice beer, pretty light, nice light.
It looks nice, so let's pass these out.
What are the Japanese beers we had, by the way?
Sapporo,
and then
that was it. That was the only Japanese beer that we had
at a sushi restaurant. How would you compare this to Sapporo? Have you had Sapporo?
So I think Sapporo is a little bit darker, and
yes, for reference, we've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time. And he said it for the first time today when I said Sapporo, and he said, what is it?
Sapporo. Yeah, so it's based out of Sapporo is made in the northern part of Japan. It's called Honshu, and that is Hokkaido. So Hokkaido, it has a city called Sapporo, and they're pretty known for that beer.
This city is named
after the beer.
I didn't know that.
Well, the beer is named after the city, essentially. So, yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
This is the kind of shit that we don't know.
This is what I'm saying, and this is why we do this podcast. Yeah. But this is a really interesting looking bottle. Nice golden brown glass, but golden lettering, and obviously has Japanese on it. Fresh or first press 100% malt. Is there a percentage on this beer?
It's probably on the 7%.
I guess they don't do
7%.
7?
Maybe.
No chance.
Uses only the most flavored portion of the finest ingredients. Premium beer. Well, I've seen enough. I think it's time to taste. So let's crack these open. Oh yeah. Juan needs one as well, obviously. Our cameraman.
We'll watch it.
Take this. We'll get it over to him, obviously.
So in Japan, before they cheers,
oh yes.
Kanpai.
Let's go. Cheers.
Let's go.
That's an interesting taste to it. Okay, it's glass.
Nice catch. Close, but nice catch.
Wow. This is interesting. This taste, I'm sorry, but this reminds me of bread.
Yeah, it's definitely very weedy.
Does anybody get that?
That's that.
Yeah,
that's that
but I'm trying to figure out a beer I could compare it to. For reference, right? Because this obviously isn't as common.
Very smooth.
Definitely smooth.
Ice cold.
Yeah. Bubbly. Nice and light.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's a little bit more bubbly than most beers. I do get a little bit more of that carbonation.
Do you get more?
I think so. It's not flat. It's definitely not flat.
I don't think it's flat. I'm just saying, I feel like it's standard.
I got my rating. This is pretty good.
I got mine. Ready?
You know the ranking?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
7-1.
All right. Yeah, 7.
7 flat. All right, so we're all right in there.
7.
Oh wait, I gotta remember I can't put this down right next to the camera. Little showcase. All right, so I'll log this down, but definitely a good beer. While I'm putting this in here, obviously, Cebs is here with us. I know Cebs through Miguel, who is Juan's little brother. That's how we met. I think we met
through like the soccer house.
Yeah, soccer house. Whenever Migs pulled up, Cebs would be there occasionally. And one thing, you know what? I'll let you take it off first.
No. Yeah, you go give your
elevator speech.
Yeah. So essentially, my name's Jose. I grew up in Kearney most of my life, essentially all of my life. But I moved to Japan probably when I was about 18. I lived in Japan for like 3 years. I went to university over there. It was a super dope experience. I won't name the university, but I lived in a city called Kyoto. It's like a pretty old city. I think it is essentially Japan's oldest city. It was actually one of the only cities that didn't get bombed in World War II, because it was seen as like
fun fact.
Yeah, it's a national. Or actually a world treasure. So it's full of like straight old temples, and all the architecture there is still like old. Like if compared to like something like Tokyo, which got firebombed and is like completely brand new, all of like the stuff in Kyoto, like their temples, their buildings, all of that stuff essentially has its like same property from like the old days. So.
Would you compare it to like kind of the stereotypical kind of structure that we see when people talk about like classic Japan, like you see movies, the emperor living in those like structures? It's kind of that.
It's the same exact thing. Like if you go to Kyoto, like you'll basically walk into like a temple, or even like a what did I say? I lived like 5 minutes away from the Imperial Palace, which is like
that's where it is. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
The Imperial Palace is literally 5 minutes away, and it's actually like 2 minutes away from my school, so it's right next to it. It's called Gosho, and it's like a super nice walk. You can go in there for free, and it's amazing because like you think about it, like this structure stood there when like you said there was emperors and all this stuff, and like you said, Kyoto is the exact epitome of like classic Japanese architecture. When you see like clay, not clay, but like those little roofs that have like the different panelings, all of that stuff is straight Kyoto. And like there's one part of Kyoto that's like in the downtown called Gion, and it's essentially where you see like geishas and like all like people like that, and they walk around, and it's it's just like a very how do I say, like just ancient city, like that's what I would call it. It does, it's super dope.
That's because I was actually going to ask. I didn't realize that the palace was actually there in Kyoto, right? I didn't realize that it was in that city. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was actually the former capital, like before it was Tokyo.
You knew that?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe I learned it in history, but I knew Kyoto exists, and it had the.
Yeah, but you watch anime. It's different.
Yeah.
Okay, anime. I don't watch historical animes.
Yeah, but I feel like there might be some references.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was the former capital. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I have to ask my mom, because my mom actually lived in Japan.
They switched a bunch of times the capital. Like it was like in Shizuoka, Nara, like Tokyo, and then Kyoto. It was just every time like a shogun or like someone gained power, like a shogun gained power and became the emperor, they would switch the capitals to wherever they like held power mainly. So like it essentially stood in Tokyo after I wouldn't say after the 1800s. I would say it stood in Tokyo, and since then it hasn't changed, and that's kind of like where the Japanese government is centralized. But before then, it was.
I don't think it's going to change anymore.
I
think Tokyo's the spot. I mean, they've had.
I mean, it's modernized.
Yeah,
modernized.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been actually, like, you'd be surprised. There's been talks about moving it to Osaka, because that Osaka is kind of like deeper into Japan, and it's not as like I say tsunami like prone.
Yes.
It's not as like prone to like being like hit by tsunamis or like natural disasters. So like they have talks about it, but essentially like you said, I don't think it would change anytime soon. It's gonna stay there. I mean,
how would you relate? Because I've heard Tokyo is similar to New York in its style of layout and the big lights and everything, but I've heard it's like New York City times 10. type deal.
I mean, honestly, so like size-wise, proximity-wise, Tokyo is the biggest city in the world, I think. I might be wrong on
fact
that.
Check.
Fact check. Don't quote me on that. It's like, I think it would be like the biggest city, but Tokyo, not all parts of Tokyo is a city. It's essentially a ward. Like it's essentially just like a big like section in province.
Wow, yeah, you are correct.
Yeah, it's the world's
by
largest
urban
city.
area and metropolitan area. It is considered the world's largest city.
And it's super dense and super packed. I would say it's similar to New York, but I would say the structure of Tokyo and like the subway systems and stuff like that, they're essentially like foolproof. Like they're perfect.
They're nice, right?
Yeah,
like they're
because it's all modernized.
Yeah. I mean, it's modern. It's modern, and they keep it all clean and everything like that. But I would say like most of Japan in itself is still stuck in like sort of like the 90s in a lot of aspects. Mm-hmm. But you can really praise like the ability to like create urban cities and their ability to kind of like create these with the landscape too. Because like it's not only that, it's like Tokyo is in a place where it's a plain. Like that's a full plain, and they have like mountainous areas and stuff like that, but they were able to build that city in a structure that was able to fit all these people and also like centralize the government like that. So it's like super impressive.
Do you see the cherry blossoms?
Yeah, no, the cherry blossoms
beautiful. They're like that.
Yeah,
that's like on my bucket list. Yeah. Well, going to Japan has always been on my bucket list, as you guys all know. Big anime fan. Always. I mean, I know at some point in my life I will be in Japan. Yeah. 100% I'm going. When, I don't really know, but I want to time it to where the cherry blossoms are, you know.
So that's all like springtime, and like that cherry blossom season is like stunning. Like I'm using Lake a lot, but like it's really really like But so like Kyoto in itself, with all
I use Lake so much.
Yeah, and now you tend
to
when I
rewatch these videos,
it's crazy.
I was like
But moving past that, Kyoto's like old Japanese architecture mixing with the cherry blossoms is especially beautiful. Like I think that point in like in spring it only lasts about like 2-3 weeks. But it's the most stunning time. Yeah, you have to go there in order to really experience it. But you see all of the trees, you see the architecture, the temples, all of it, and it's stunning. Like I said, like there's
so much history there.
Yeah, there's history. There's years and years upon like philosophy, everything really, like culture.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Essentially, so.
And you're fluent in Japanese.
Yeah, I'm fluent in Japanese.
That's one thing that I really want to learn.
Yeah, but I have a question about that. So, when did you learn how to speak Japanese?
So, when I was young, my mom kind of always used to take care of me, and she didn't have too much money, so she always was like cleaning houses for a living. And at that time, like she couldn't afford to put me anywhere, so she took me with her, and she always grew up watching like Sailor Moon and cartoons in Colombia and stuff like that. So she
cartoons.
Yes, I mean anime.
Come on, man.
They are cartoons.
I'm not
a debate. I'm not a debate on this.
I'm the biggest. Cartoons is American.
I mean,
anime is animation based out of Japan.
Yeah, essentially. But anime, the word is just animation. So it's a widespreading thing. We kind of associate the two, but anime is essentially Japanese animation. I would agree with you on that. But yeah, like she used to watch anime at that time, and so when she would bring me, Sailor Moon is dope. If you want to watch Saint Seiya, like dope things. But she would bring me places, and she'd make me watch like Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball became what my childhood. So I watched Dragon Ball growing up. And it became to the point where, like, it just was something that would teach me culture, and I'd watch more and more and more and more. And, I mean, bro, I was watching anime before anyone was watching anime. It was something that I grew up on. Like, when I was...
I'm older than you.
But did you watch Dragon Ball Z back in, like, 2002?
I was watching Naruto when it came out on Cartoon Network.
That's how it is. But Cartoon Network got it before, like, a long time after it was already out in Japan.
You're not the first person to watch anime, bro.
I'm not saying I'm not Soldier Boy. I'm not Soldier Boy.
The point he's trying to make though is like that he was watching it from a very young age.
It was part of my culture, so I'm like watching it all over the place. And I mean, it was to a point where in middle school I'd be telling people like watching like, oh yo, go watch Attack Attack on Titan. This was like back in like 2012, and people are like, what
crazy.
Are you watching?
It's been going on now.
Yeah, why are you watching these Japanese cartoons and stuff like that? So it became a thing. I obviously studied Japanese and picked up on it and learned more and more and more and more. So like that was really it. I mean, by the time I think I was like 16 or 17, I think I was already just like fluent and had the language like down. But I mean, I don't know. I went
14.
Yeah, no, like 16 or so. And I went to Japan.
So you learned. Okay. You were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you didn't move.
Why were you going back and forth?
I mean, just to go visit there and see things and just like experience. I actually wanted to go play baseball in Japan at one point because like I grew up playing baseball too, and it was my dream to like play baseball over there. Baseball over there is like
it's
the
huge.
national
No,
sport.
it is big. Yes.
It's like baseball over here, baseball in the Dominican Republic. Like that's their sports sport, and especially for middle school, like the summer tournament, like their summer national tournament is like a dream. Like they make animes on it. Like it's like one of Japanese kids or Japanese youths like favorite things.
It's like their
playing
Little
baseball.
League
Yeah,
World
exactly.
Series,
It is, but bigger. Yeah, they televise it in stadiums. It's crazy. So like that was my dream. I wanted to go over there. So I would go see things and I'd take visits. But I also like would be part of like the Japanese National Honor Society and all of this stuff. So like I had classes in high school, and so it just became part of me. And I mean, through that, I kind of made a big decision leaving high school to go over. I was initially going to go to NYU, but I decided to go to Japan just because it's so much cheaper, and it was part of my dream.
Yeah.
And it was just a crazy thing. It was like a perfect storm essentially.
So wait, did you graduate high school or no?
Yeah, I did graduate.
Okay, and then after that,
after that I went over to Japan.
And you essentially went to college over there?
Yeah, I went to university. It wasn't like a study abroad program or anything like that. It was like I was enrolled as just a normal like college student.
Do you have citizenship over there?
Not residency though.
Residency. Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
So wait, if so do you have like a degree technically over there, or did you?
Not yet. I'm actually since I'm like since COVID, I decided to move back over here. So I'm transferring all my credits to university over here.
Oh,
so you're gonna finish your credits here.
I'm like in my third year.
Where are you gonna go?
So, planning to go to FIT. So.
Yeah. Florida Institute of Technology?
No, Fashion Institute of Technology.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to FIT.
So like do you know like
we'll get into the fashion later. We're still on Japan.
But like like how do the credits transfer over there? Because like
true.
It's the same thing. I mean, Japan. The school I went to in Japan is like a top school. It's like seen as like an Ivy League school in Japan.
Oh, I see.
And it's the same thing as if I went to like the UK or like another place like outside of the US for like credits. They hold the same, and the education is essentially the same. It's just outside of the US. So like they're the same credits, but you just have to like go through a process and like move them. So.
Okay.
If someone came to you and was like, I'm going to Japan, no matter where in Japan I'm staying, where do I have to go on my trip? Like if there's one spot, whether it's a temple or a forest area or a city or something. Those are two different questions. So we'll stick with location first.
All right.
Where do you have to go if you go there?
So you definitely. All right. I'm gonna give 3 different answers because like just because like I think different people have like different personalities. So like depending on your taste and what you're going for the trip, like if you're into fashion, you're into street culture, nightlife, I think like Tokyo is definitely like the optimal place.
I mean, yes,
like that's just the place where like, but also like that could be Osaka because at the same time it has because I think you would rather go to Osaka if you're into more of the food with the culture and then bits of fashion and nightlife because they're very very rich on that, but food is like number one over there. Tokyo is there for like those fashion kids, for those people who want to really experience like Tokyo nightlife, those night scenes. Like that's just perfect. That's beautiful. I think if you really want to experience tradition and like the old school, like old style Japan, like the true Japan, I would say like visit Kyoto or Nara, which are like the two. They're essentially close to each other, and like Japan is pretty small. It's like the size of California, so like you can visit all these spots in 1 week if you want wanted to, and you could like if you plan it right, you buy a certain like rail pass, like you could do it for pretty cheap too. Like
I've watched so many videos on that stuff.
I mean, exactly. So like it's
like
not
fucking $2 hotels where you're sleeping in a pod or some shit.
No. It's super affordable.
Which I want to do because that. Have you ever slept in one of those?
I haven't slept in a pod.
Have you seen them though?
I have seen them.
They look cool. Have you?
No.
So there's these hotels where it's not rooms. It's like this hallway of 3 stacked squares on either side. And you could tell me if I'm wrong, but this is based off the videos I've seen. But the squares are maybe 2 feet by 2 feet, and they shoot down to make a rectangular prism about maybe 7 feet, we'll say. But inside that little cubby is the bed, obviously. It's got a little storage space. It's got a TV. It's comfortable, allegedly. And, like, that's where you sleep.
I mean,
you literally go in. It's not like a hotel room where, you know, you have a couch and a chill spot. It's literally, if you want to go there and you just want to fall asleep at night, you walk up to this place. If they have availability, you pay, like it translates to a few American dollars to sleep there for the night. You go in, you take your shoes off, go into the cubby, and knock out.
Yeah, it's usually mostly like businessmen that use it, and like it's super cheap, and it's kind of like a capsule. That's what they call it.
That's
capsule
a good.
hotels.
That's
So like it's like I said, it's probably like the size a little bit bigger than this bed, and you just crawl into it, or like he said, you crawl into it. You have like a flap that closes it. There's a TV in it. It's roomy enough, I would say. Like it's enough to.
It's like, not like you're fucking laying
you're
in
not
there
like
this.
It's like decent enough. You could like be.
You could probably do this.
Yeah. Not more than that. Like you can actually like be pretty decently comfortable.
I've seen some that are pretty small.
Yeah,
though.
Depending on the space.
Depends
like a lot of
them.
Everything in Japan can be big or small.
Yeah,
like
it's the price. That's like I feel like that makes sense. That's interesting though. You don't see anything.
It's not that
like
expensive.
Yeah, it's probably
to take
like
a trip there.
senen or like 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 yen or like $10 or something like that to like sleep there, stay for the night.
Yeah, why not?
That's what I'm saying.
Just like. Think about it. Night out, you're hammered.
Yeah.
Just go back.
I mean, there's like so many dope places. I think like cool experiences that people should do are probably like go visit Mount Fuji if you are into like some sort.
That's
of
a different question though. Like a location versus like
like activities.
An activity or what's the fucking not a commodity. Like. You want to go see the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower of Paris is a attraction. Attraction. That's the word.
So I would say like there's Tokyo Skytree. There's like Dotonbori and Osaka. Like these are places that are just super famous for being like tourist attractions. But I think like the nicer ones would be like climbing Mount Fuji because that's like an experience.
Experience.
Yeah, you can do, and I think like a lot of people can climb Mount Fuji. It's not necessarily super duper hard. Like you can do it. Like a lot of people who live in that area do it as normal strolls. Like they go up to a certain level. Like they're not obviously gonna go to like the peak, but like you can go to the peak if you're like relatively fit or like you just prepare for like a day, and it's a super cool experience. But I think other than that, like go visit the temples, see like what the food is about, see the nightlife and like the actual like real people.
I wanted to touch on the nightlife. Yeah. So the drinking age over there is what 18?
It's actually 20.
It's 20.
Yeah.
So what is that experience like compared to maybe something in America? Like how is the nightlife over there? Is it similar? Is it like what do they listen to their like Japanese EDM? Like you know what I'm saying? Like what's the vibe? Like
you'd be super surprised. So like in Kyoto, the city I lived in, it's a college town. So it's the population's a lot younger. The average population is a lot younger than most of Japan. Most of Japan is like an older population. They're known as an aging society. So like in Kyoto, we have a very young population. We have people who are into like fashion and hip hop and stuff like that. I shout out to my friend Kenta. Shout out to Kenta. I don't know if he's ever gonna watch this. He's
tell him to watch.
Yeah, he's a really.
We'll get our first Japanese listen.
Yeah. He's a distinct.
We'll reach a new country.
Like shout out to Kenta, Kenchan. Shout out to Doyle. Shout out to all my boys in Japan. I met a bunch of crazy people, but in the nightlife we have a bunch of characters. My friend Kenta that I mentioned before, he grew up in Japan. He doesn't speak a word of English, but like he wants he's studying it. He does speak some English, but I'm not gonna bring him down. But yeah, he's learning. he's super into like 80s and 90s hip hop, like Nas, like
really?
Yeah, all of that.
Is American culture big over there?
American culture is super big. Like,
would you say American music
I would
is bigger
say
than the Japanese?
Yeah. Not bigger than Japanese. Japanese music obviously is going to be the number one, but
okay.
it is its own commodity.
There.
American culture in its whole has been part of Japanese society since like post-war, like because they essentially, even their democracy was it was copied off of American democracy. Damn. So American culture is there like in its roots from post-war like times. So
the nukes hit them hard.
Yeah, and they did. So they did, but I mean, at the same time, there was a lot of help that America did give. And there are different things. American imperialism and help can be seen as two different things. But anyway, like that culture stood, and there are a million people that listen to American music. They like American culture, American like artists. All of that is mainstream. Anything that's mainstream or pop is going to be mainstream and popular there, and it has been for a while. Like I'm not gonna go too deep on like fashion, but like people like Nigo and like the starters who created Bape and Undercover. These people created these brands with the idea that they liked American grunge and the Sex Pistols and stuff like that. And this is stuff that like you wouldn't think is part of a Japanese culture, but it's Japanese subcultures it's reached Japanese subculture to the point where it's like it's big, and if you go over there now, you walk into a club and it's blasting Cardi B or they're blasting like it's cool. I can show. I mean, I have videos and stuff like that. My friends they listen to the same thing. The clubs play the same thing. They'll listen to EDM, and their drinking culture is really really fun. Like you don't think about it, they're a very strict and serious society on like but they let go when they want to let go. Like that's when you see like those videos of Japanese businessmen like slumped out and stuff like that. Like that's their relaxation time, and so when they go hard, they go hard.
What is that like though? Because I do know it's a stricter culture in terms of I don't know, just being not mature, but like.
Well, I was gonna also point to that. Like, do you think that also, just to piggyback on that, has to do with why, like, the cities are clean? Because like the society is
definitely. Strict. There's an essence into Japanese. I would say the way Japanese people live, that's part of like Buddhist Zen. Buddhist Zen is a big part of the way they live, and so they don't.
Is that the primary?
I mean, they don't have a main religion. Like Japan is mostly non-theistic. Like they don't have a necessary like one religion like the United States, which is Christianity. They have a bunch of mixtures. I would say it's Shinto and Zen. Those are like the number 1, number 2 that are practiced the most, but they're not too into it. It's just mostly ingrained into a lot of the things that are already a part of their culture. So like things that they do, like before they eat, they say like itadakimasu, or like they do stuff like that. That's
Classic.
that's stuff that's like. That's stuff that's from Buddhist culture, like appreciation for life, essentially. So within that appreciation to life, they have a certain care that they care and they have a manner of not trying to bother people, and so their culture is based around essentially not bothering other people, being mindful, and it's a culture of mindfulness. So they have a word for it. It's called mewaku, and mewaku just means like don't be annoying, like don't bother other people. And they instill that to their children like since they're young. It's like don't be mewaku. So like they're in Japan, when you're in the subways, like people aren't talking loud, they're not creating like a bunch of ruckus. Like even if you have music like playing too loud in your headphones, that's rude. Like there are certain things that you don't do, and that's just part of the.
They're very aware of their surroundings and respectful of others,
and that's built from their culture, and that's built like from deeper like roots, such as like their.
I saw this video one time. Again, as I was saying, I did a lot of research about Japan, and I saw like top 10 things not to do when you're in Japan if you're coming from America, and one of them was we jaywalk here all the time.
Oh no,
all the time we jaywalk. We don't even think about it, but over there. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's like do not do it. Like even if you have to walk, let's say you're on this side of the road, and there's a business over here, and the crosswalk is over here. They'll walk the 10 feet to cross the crosswalk when they're told to cross, just to get over to this other. Even though it'd be easier to cross the road because there's a shorter distance. That's just like you were saying.
They definitely they follow those road rules like pretty strictly. I mean, but not everyone does it.
But
you
mostly drive down there.
What? What'd you say?
Could you drive down there?
Yeah, I could drive.
You drove?
I have drove.
How would you relate drivers?
It's
to America?
About the same. I mean, you drive on the opposite side of the road too. That was a little different for me, but I would say like they're about the same. I don't think it's too different. They have a deep driving culture too, deep car culture.
The steering wheel's on the other side, correct?
Yeah.
Is the accelerator still on the right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that setup is still the same.
Yeah, it's still the same, but it's just on the other side.
It's just on the other side.
Wow. So you could drive.
Yeah.
I would feel so weird. Just like I just like got an ick thinking about like driving on the other side of the car.
I've always thought of that. But
like,
I mean, that's not really uncommon because, like, if you think about it, in England, in the UK, like, you're in like Eastern Europe and like Eastern Western Europe and like Central Europe, no, but like in the UK, I mean, that's like talk about like just modern culture. It's
really,
like,
it switches over in Europe.
Yeah,
and if you cross a border,
in the UK,
you would have to switch lanes.
In the UK, it's you drive on the opposite side. But then on like mainland Europe, I think
some places are different. It's certain places. I think.
What do you think that border is like?
What do you mean the border? I don't know if there is a border.
So let's say there's a.
No, I don't know.
I'm saying. Let's say there's.
Is it on the other side? Like, does the road start?
That's what I'm saying. So like, let's say you have two countries next to each other, and one country you drive on the left.
Country like that. Like, I don't think
there has to be. Countries. There literally has to be.
No, because majority of
what do you mean?
Look up how many countries drive on the opposite side of the road. I think a majority of them, aside from
England, and then the next to it's Scotland, and then
but I'm saying there has to be some point.
Look,
there's not only an island.
The UK is an island, dude.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. It is.
Wow. I thought you were.
No, the UK. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. The UK. Yes. Okay, all right, hold on.
Just look up how many countries drive on the because I think there's also like some islands that were occupied by the UK.
Yeah.
That also
I feel dumb.
Yeah, you see Japan.
Okay, there's a map with
South
colors.
South Africa, Australia.
Okay, so in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do I zoom?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia's on the. Right? No,
so okay, so this
India,
is this is what I'm saying.
India.
So let's say you go
Pakistan,
you go India to China, or you go there to there. Like there are countries that exist where they're next to each other.
But you see, we're India, Nepal.
Also, I'm gonna try to find out somehow to put this up on the screen. I'm gonna try to do it somehow.
Also, though, like Nepal, where Nepal borders China, I don't know how it is with the others, because that's one aside from Africa, which is probably like a mess. You don't.
Yeah,
know.
I don't even know what the roads are like down there.
Where Nepal borders China, that's like a very desolate area of China. I'm almost positive that's where
but there has to be a road connecting the two.
No, that's where the Himalayas are.
Yeah, people don't.
I don't think there's roads. I'm not actually
100. On this side, most of like.
Let me click out.
China.
The Himalayas are on the border.
But what about this?
China
What's this bullshit down here?
That's Southeast Asia.
That's
what I'm saying. So what about when they cross it?
I'm not necessarily
all I'm saying is these countries do exist, and I'm gonna assume there is at least one road that connects a country that drives on the left to the right. Can we all agree that there's at least one fucking road in the whole world that does that?
I actually don't know if I could buy that, but I'll tell you this.
It might be.
Do you think it just curves off, and like how do you can only get to the other country through flying?
No, what I'm saying is that there's I don't know if there's like
maybe
down here
maybe
too.
Like over here, like what is this? Brazil, Bolivia, what country?
What is that? Uruguay, Paraguay?
No.
Oh no, that's these two.
This is.
I'm not good with geometry. No, not. What's the word? What's the word for geography? I was gonna say geometry.
I was gonna say.
Thank you,
No,
cameraman.
I was gonna say your geography was like fucked up.
No,
but I don't.
Yeah, Colombia. So this is Colombia. This is Ecuador here.
I'm trying to think what those are, but I mean, regardless, like. I don't think that's relevant anyway, but like
I know, but how does it work? What's the fucking build behind that? What's the engineering? How do you do that? How do you transfer from a right side of the road to the left?
I mean, dude, I feel like it's just way.
It would have to be a ramp that goes like this.
Somewhere. It's either. I feel like you're overthinking it. I feel like there's not that much
traffic
that
goes.
I feel like there's not that much traffic that goes over that, and it's just like an open area, and like people just go through the border, and it's like a free for all. I'm not.
It's a free for all. So they're just changing lanes in front of each other.
It has to be a roundabout. It has to be a roundabout.
Yeah, something like that, or
no.
Yeah, a roundabout makes sense.
Yeah, a roundabout does make sense.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
It's in one direction.
I mean,
No,
Again, there
You
has to
start
be.
from here. This is the entrance, and then this is the entrance to the other
it's
side.
2 lanes. Look, listen. If the
Okay,
roundabout's
a roundabout
2 lanes,
would work.
yeah.
I just thought about it.
A roundabout could work, but in a sense, you think about it this way. It's like, is it that I don't know what like the border security? It might just be like a standard roundabout, and like you don't know what the. I mean, regardless, it's irrelevant countries that we're talking about.
It is irrelevant.
Like majority third world countries that are connecting. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know what the facts are on this.
But either way,
I want to talk about fashion now, because this guy, big, probably the number one person I've ever met in my life that is into fashion as deep as you are.
I mean, I go deep. Just like anime or like Japanese culture, I go deep into fashion. Like these things all kind of like coincided.
Dangerousroads.org.
That's
how they connect, right? Yeah, it's
no, it's not even a roundabout.
Oh,
Oh wait, this is a roundabout here, but I'm not. I think this is
that's it. It's
this
like
is
a
the
ramp.
transfer.
Yeah.
It looks like a dick.
That look weird. It's very phallic.
It goes up.
It is phallic.
It goes up and then curves and transfers.
Odd.
I mean, listen, dude.
But there's different.
That's kind of the idea I was thinking.
But these roads do exist, just for my reference. So fuck you.
The Shenzhen China crossover between Hong Kong and China. That makes sense.
See?
Okay.
Oh, because
Hong Kong doesn't drive on the other opposite
What?
side of the road. Yeah.
One city in China doesn't, but the rest of it does.
Well, Hong Kong isn't part of China. Hong Kong.
Whoa.
No, it's
Hong
not.
Kong is its own
Yeah.
country.
I knew
Hong
that. You didn't
Kong
know
is
that?
its own country.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought-
diplomatically wise, depending on
That's
your
two L's for me
politics,
this
Yeah,
Hong
yeah.
Kong, depending on your politics, Hong Kong is one country. Like they were occupied by England, and then
They have their own seat in the UN.
Well, that's the tricky part. So China.
So it's like Catalonia.
It's
to
one of those.
Spain.
No, it's one of those things. No, that's different. This
so
is
like
more-
Taiwan, you know how
more recognized.
Taiwan
Yeah.
it was a part of China essentially, but like all the like CDP leaders, all the
Yeah.
Chinese democratic leaders moved to they
Taiwan.
became the Chinese Republic of Taiwan. Essentially, they're not recognized by China, but China is recognized by the world.
Yeah.
So it becomes a conflict.
it's like if you-
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, no.
Israel to.
If you look at
it's Israel and
Whatever.
Palestine.
yeah.
Okay.
So like, and it's like the world, a majority of the world recognizes Taiwan as a country, aside from a few select countries, including obviously China being the main one, which is that has significance because they are one of the biggest world powers.
So
they don't recognize Taiwan.
And that's why you see all the protests and stuff like that in Hong Kong. It's because they're kind of like all those protesters were fighting against Chinese conversion, like
Round 2 for
joining
one.
China and like China, taking
Yeah.
over them and stuff like that. So like that is it becomes convoluted. Like it becomes a whole big political.
Off topic. Back to fashion. This guy has an $800 Kanye puffer jacket.
All right, wait. Before we get to that, I just
jacket.
Oh, that was only
It's
two?
it's a two. The
Can I-
Gap and
Oh,
Yeezy
okay.
is
I ju-
relatively cheap.
I just want to ask this first. So that's like you would consider fashion one of your like passions, right?
I would say
He's going to
fashion,
FIT.
Well,
That's what I-
fashion, politics, and like fighting, like
And
kickboxing.
would you-
Oh,
would you-
yes.
Would
I
you
forgot about
consider
that.
like? Would you? I would assume you would probably put fashion at number one if you had to make a choice.
It becomes tough. I think it becomes tough because like on one hand, all I look at is like fashion, aesthetics, and stuff like that, and on the other hand, it's like I listen constantly to like politics, and that's the information I consume. So it becomes tough. Which one's like my bigger passion? But I would say what I enjoy more and what I find more enjoyable. I would say fashion. Sometimes I get more more passionate, I guess, about politics.
Yeah.
And that's, in the moment
Yeah.
timing, but I would say fashion would probably be my
Fashion's
biggest,
like the joy,
Yeah,
because
the
like
joy.
we all know
Yeah.
politics
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
its dark side, right?
it becomes its own thing.
Everyone's got a problem.
Exactly.
But I think that it's an interesting, because I feel like a lot of people will say they're fashionable or like they like to dress
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But like having a passion
Yeah.
in fashion
Yeah.
is different. I think
it's a little different, and it cultivates like personalities. Like the fashion, there's this whole thing of fashion kids and people who are fashion, like the fashion youths or whatever. And I think people who like dressing well and people who are into fashion, they're not too far off of the spectrum. I mean, anyone who's into dressing well, the second they start like being somewhat interested about how like a fit looks on them, they're gonna be a person who becomes interested in fashion, and they start looking at things like, oh, maybe it becomes like Supreme Bape into Rick Owens pipeline or something like that, or it's like something like, oh yeah, I like the way this suit looks. Oh, what's this suit made of?
Yeah,
oh,
there's like they're just dabbling into it, right?
And they're not too far off, but I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping in people who are into fashion that it makes it kind of intimidating for a lot of people to be like, oh yeah, I am into fashion. Most people will be like, oh yeah, like I like clothes, but like if you start talking to someone who's into fashion, they're sort of like pretentious, and they kind of make you seem like off-putting like on the subject or whatever.
I feel like it's a very competitive kind of.
It is, but because what you're talking about is like how you look, and you're always gonna compare how you look off to like
it's
another
a lot
person.
of comparing.
Right? And it's based off of opinions and people's criticisms, and like it becomes a toxic world too, nonetheless. But I think there's a lot of beauty in it. I think that fashion, music, those two things, like they are synonymous to culture in itself in certain aspects of like the word. And I think especially pop culture and media, I think pop culture and media has become like a new standard of what culture is, because like what we think about as culture now, like the word culture is like rap music, it's how we dress, it's all this stuff, and that is the culture essentially. It is the culture. But in that, I think that I'm kind of losing my point in my head, but I think that it's a super competitive thing, like you said, but it's also a thing that's like enjoyable for everyone, and it is something that is really big for everyone, because I think like the movers of culture, people who we see as like cultural figures, like for me, like Kanye, Rihanna, or like these people who are all in the public eye all the time, they have influence culture in a sense that we don't think. Like it's not like politically, it's not economically. It can be economically at times. You like if you
I was
look
gonna
at
bring that up into the picture, like the economics of it. So for me, I'm not a big fashion guy, right? I don't like, obviously as I'm growing up and I'm getting older, I can see the draw. You want to it's all about the visual. It's all about how you look to the public at the end of the day. If you're wearing a white t-shirt or that you get at Walmart, or you get a white t-shirt that you get from Gucci, even if it's the same just white t-shirt, the Gucci one is going to be vastly more expensive than obviously the one that you get from Walmart. And I understand that, especially with the flip-flops, for instance, like Gucci flip-flops. You can obviously tell they're Gucci flip-flops because of the logo compared to something that's just Nike. Yeah. So by wearing those and somebody seeing that you have Gucci, in their head, they're thinking, oh, this guy's got money, he must be wealthy and stuff.
That's the more glorified, capitalistic, like, materialistic.
I understand the draw, but to me, as far as functionality goes, a shirt's a shirt. Yeah. I wouldn't want to just get a Walmart t-shirt because, now that I'm older, I can afford more higher quality. And obviously quality is a big thing as well, because it's not going to be the same that you get from Walmart as some of these designer brands. But at the same time, I feel like there's a point. There's like three groups for me. Yeah. And it could elaborate longer because, again, I'm not into bigger fashion, or I'm not big into fashion. But you have the bullshit. Yeah. You have the Walmart, and the fucking all that crap. You just go there, Marshalls, you pick up stuff for $10, $15, you're on your way. Then you get into this medium area where that's kind of where you go to the mall, right? You go to the mall, you see all these different stores, Express, H&M, Zara. Zara's a little expensive, but still I'll kind of keep it in that same category. And then you jump to the third category, which is your Louis Vuitton, fucking Gucci. That's your high-end shit. Yeah. So that bottom third, take that out. Yeah. I think the quality within that middle section is comparable to the quality. Now, granted, I've never had any Gucci, Louis V fucking materials, so I don't necessarily know. However, I have seen them. It's not too far off of quality to where you're like, wow, this is a shitty-ass shirt. which you would get from Walmart.
Yeah, I understand that.
So why am I gonna spend an extra, no gas, $400-$500
the markup there? Yeah,
on a sweatshirt just because it says a designer on it?
Yeah. So functionality and I think the name brand itself, those become convoluted too. I think Walmart carries Levi's and Walmart carries Dickies.
Yeah, they're expanding their market.
And that stuff, but that's stuff that's been here forever. And I think Levi's are as good quality as like any Fear of God jean or like Go Deeper, like helmet long pants.
See, like I don't even know those.
Yeah, I was gonna
say
what I'm
saying. I don't even
like,
know
that's
those
like
designers.
it's I believe, and Levi's is a staple that is going to be here forever. But I think like the classicness, I think there are issues in wanting to buy stuff only for its name because you're not fully getting what you're paying for. You're getting that name, you're getting the shirt, but the quality difference that you're gonna essentially look for is gonna be very minimal or slight. You're gonna get a 100% cotton shirt, but you could also get a 100% cotton shirt over here.
Yeah.
But also like there are the history and backing of Gucci behind the $100 or $120, $200 white t-shirt. So like that history, that backing is enough for a lot of people. But I think that it's a problem if you're doing mindless spending for just that. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like
that's
why?
Just
like
consumption and gluttonism.
Yeah. I see a lot of these big brands minimize their logos.
Yeah.
That's like kind of like the style now.
Yeah.
Not like a big fat logo on the chest like Aeropostale or Gap. Something like that. I mean, they're trying to minimize their logos. So to me, it doesn't make sense to buy a $150 white T-shirt if it doesn't say Gucci on the front.
Yeah.
Because I'm walking around, nobody's gonna know. I feel like the draw to this stuff is just
yeah.
clout.
But wait. Interesting point though, real quick. It's like, all right, for like the average person, that makes sense because it's like, okay, I'm walking around and like I wouldn't like the average person doesn't know that might be.
Of course, yeah.
But
Can't
like
tell the
in the fashion industry, I'm sure it's people recognize it a little bit more.
I mean, obviously, but then that's not even the point. I don't think fashion should be centered around logoism or any of this stuff. I think that like that's why I praise Kanye and his vision is because this guy doesn't work on any logos. Have you ever seen Kanye put a logo on anything?
No.
You know it's Yeezy just because you know it's Yeezy, but it's not logos. He's trying to decentralize, and he's also trying to make his clothes more affordable for the masses. That's why I can praise an $80 sweater, because an $80 sweater is not that expensive, and and what you're getting for the $80 sweater is made by someone who has passion and is kind of changing the whole scene of fashion. And not only that, I think that
changing the scene of fashion.
He is. I mean, if you look at 5 years ago to now, if you look at 2016 or you look at 2015, right? The shoes that were popular before that time period, everything was Nike.
With shoes, I can see that.
Even then, like what else do people wear now? Everyone's wearing baggier clothes. Everyone's wearing. I think if you look at anyone dressing, you're gonna see Kanye everywhere. If you walk in the mall, how many times are you gonna see a pair of Yeezys? How many times are you gonna see someone wear like a Yeezy sweater or jacket? It's everywhere. It's undeniable. It's become a thing where I think Yeezys are bigger than Jordans. I didn't think the public.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
That's a close one. That's a close one.
I mean, right now,
it's grown to that popularity, though. I think it's grown,
which is an amazing thing.
I don't know. I don't know about
Jordans.
I don't know if it passes Jordans.
Jordans?
I don't know if it passes Jordans because I feel like a lot of
maybe Vans,
like, classic.
They already sell more shoes than Jordan.
I'm fact checking again.
I think I could see that. I don't necessarily think that's far off. I could see that Yeezys. It's become such a popular brand.
All right, this is by Complex, big sneaker guy. They have great videos. I love all their videos. By the numbers comparison. Wow, what a great website for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so more followers on Instagram. I don't care about Instagram. I want sales. What is this? How many pairs were made? No. How many were sold? Okay, more pairs were made of Jordans. Resale? Alright, I don't care about pricing.
it becomes a whole thing.
How expensive? How much do they cost? Let me see sales. High sales. Here we go.
So Jordan has
easily
more. Nike has more, but if you're gonna think
30 million compared to 20 million.
Look at the market. So if we're gonna look about market jumps,
but it is close. I'll give you that. It is close, and Adidas, it's getting there. Jordan's been around for way longer.
And this is not even Jordan. This is Nike itself.
Yeah, that's Nike versus Adidas. I feel like Nike. I think maybe if you have like a comparison of Nike,
they got this.
Nike. You have to get this up on the screen, like that. Those images, if you can. So Nike versus Adidas, I feel like Yeezys make up more of a percentage of that number than Jordans do.
And not only that, it's been way hotter too. I think the sneaker. I think Nike, other than Off-Whites, or like Travis Scott, like those have been like the highest selling Nikes or Jordans and Nikes period since way back when they were people were dying in line for Jordans. Now everyone wants Yeezys, and even now they're not selling out as crazy. But it's because they're making it more available, and everyone's just buying it. Yeah. And the thing is that Yeezy wants to make it, or Ye wants to make it so that everyone has Kanye shoes. Everyone has something that's Yeezy. He wants to make it so that fashion gatekeepers aren't really there, and you can enter and be a fashion person if you want to without having to spend all this money. Yeah. He's getting he just signed a deal with Balenciaga to manufacture all the clothes for his Yeezy Gap line, which is now you're getting Balenciaga quality for $80. He released the hoodie, it's $80, and that's now what you're getting, and that's a vision now that he's trying to release. He's trying to make the what's it called? Those foam runners, the ones that look all crazy. Yeah. They're not foam runners, but he's trying to make those $20, and that's a vision that he's trying to make. Yeah, that's something bigger than I think like what you see with something like Nike, which is like they're gonna just do their same thing. I think Kanye's breaking boundaries and now transforming how people dress. Now people still wear Nikes, but now if you see someone wear Adidas, you're going to know why they're wearing Adidas.
Adidas has definitely upped their game for sure, but I found a better website. So it says the top 5 selling trainers on StockX. What's StockX?
StockX is just like a selling website.
All right, so this is from one website, so maybe it doesn't encompass the whole picture, but in 2020 up to date, top 2 are Air Jordan 13s and Air Jordan 1s, and then the next 3 are Yeezys.
Yeah, so you have the next 3 are all Yeezys from the past experience.
That's the rest of that.
I think
bullshit.
I mean, I think it's.
But it is close.
And
who knows in 5 years maybe they do overtake
also,
it.
this has been since 2016 when Kanye
that
released
was his first release.
Yeah, Kanye released the first Yeezy. No, in 2015, 2014 he released the first. No, 2015 was when he released the Yeezy Adidas V2. The Yeezy 350 V1. That's when he released the first one, and that broke the whole market. He also released the 750s the same year. I think that was before that. And since then, Adidas has become way bigger in market gain in all of that.
If you talk about just
stuff
gain,
like that, it's monumental. And now from what Nike being like almost a monopoly in the shoe game to being now 1 and 2, and that's also switching. And at times Kanye's won shoe of the year. Kanye's done all these things. That's why I give him props and why I think he's kind of like
If you look in the last 10 years, who's revolutionized fashion for the average person the most,
or even then
Kanye,
fashion or music, I would
not for the average person. Yeah, this shit's expensive.
It's expensive, but you see a lot of people, especially like the younger generation. I think he's completely revolutionized. Like, I'm not saying obviously it's a different, like maybe for older, like people who's, but that's like a different. We're talking about a different time. Our generation, the younger millennials younger millennials / Gen Z, I think he's completely kind of shaped our culture. Because obviously, if we're talking about culture, our culture is different than our parents.
He's definitely
right.
Obviously, yeah.
He's definitely top down.
And I think he's part of.
My parents wouldn't even listen to
Kanye. And he's done that. He's done that for 23 years, and he's still doing it, bro. Like that's.
I think his ability to, because I mean, he's been around for how long?
Yeah.
And his ability to influence culture for this long is crazy.
He is falling off, though, in my opinion.
He can't be, bro.
No, he's actually crazy, right?
No, but you're
he's actually crazy. I
don't think so. He has bipolar.
I think yeah, but crazy. We're talking. how many other crazy people are there that are like Hollywood celebrities?
Yeah, but
just
you
because
tell,
you're crazy,
bro,
he's
you
not.
Can tell from this
he's
guy.
No. But he's
the
always.
thing is too. I'm gonna.
That's why he's on my top 5.
I'm gonna go in full Kanye defense, and the fact is that like, yo, this man also has been a public figure for so long, dealing with mental health issues like bipolar. That just glorifies it 10 times more. You're gonna be seen as a crazy person if you're constantly in the media as a crazy person, not knowing anything else about this person. You're just gonna see what that shows. Not only that, it's like, yeah, that's he is admittedly bipolar.
But I feel like I also see it in his music, in the sense that, okay, yeah, there's always the joke of, oh, I miss the old Kanye. Like, I get it. Like, you know, he wants to be somebody different, and he wants to make different music because that's what he wants. And at the end of the day, it's his music. He can choose what he wants to produce. Yeah. So I get that. But at the same time, when I look at his music, maybe in his past, his first few albums, compared to what the last 3 he's been releasing, to me, the last album that I genuinely enjoyed, what was the one that had the orange background?
Life of Pablo.
Yeah,
that was his.
No. I think that was like his last decent album.
Yeah, but
and everything past that.
Okay,
it's just
so maybe
off.
he's falling off in music, but his influence on culture has not fallen off whatsoever.
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say his.
I'm
not going to say his influence on culture has dropped, because I feel like he is a heavy public figure, and he does have a lot of influence on kids. A lot of people grew up with this.
I think he's
Kanye
one of the most influential figures.
And I'm not gonna deny that.
I don't know.
But I feel like he's gone a little bit off the rails, in the sense that why would he even think about running for president?
That's right. Just, but listen.
Like, was it a publicity stunt? Maybe.
Yeah, but that
like,
doesn't. That's irrelevant in him falling off.
If you live, but if you
falling off, no.
How's he? Because he's doing other shit. He's not focusing on what he should be doing.
But the guy,
I say should.
What he should be? Why? Because he still has the same influence on culture, except it's in fashion.
But he also
it's shifting.
Okay, says the guy who's like LeBron should shut up and dribble.
Yeah, but that's,
so why is this guy going into other areas?
No, that's a completely different story. I also didn't say that.
Yes, you did. I will pull up the fucking tapes.
No.
I will pull up the tapes.
No, but Laura Ingraham. Yeah, but wait. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mentioned Laura Ingraham. Yeah,
I will pull up the tapes because you agree with that statement.
Okay, yeah, I did say that. But also, there's a difference. Kanye has established himself in multiple industries, like fully. Like, he's a fashion icon right at this point.
So he's established him in the presidential race.
No, but that's irrelevant. He's
past that. I think he's past the music. Yeah. As a person, as an artist, and as an individual who moves culture, I think he's beyond.
I think he's done with music. I think he's clocked out.
He still has the hold and grip. Like he's saying, he's still
because he's Kanye. If he fucking releases a single, it's going to be on the top 10 charts.
No one's sitting here saying Donda? No one's sitting. All right,
garbage.
And look,
there's like 4 good songs.
Listen. If no one here is gonna sit here and be like, I support Kanye for president, okay? Like, obviously, right?
I support Kanye for president.
There you go.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, like really seriously. That's what I'm saying.
He's got that.
Okay, but that's irrelevant because he's not falling off. That doesn't mean he's falling off by any means.
Okay,
I think the fact that I think just someone going crazy though has nothing to do with them falling off.
I don't think he's going crazy though either. He's trying to change things and make things better for people. He's trying to build communities. He's trying to help people, and part of that is his vision. And that's not like you laugh at it too, but that's part of. I mean, either way, it's like either way. I feel like that is something he talks about too. Is that's part of the reason he was in Wyoming and buying all of these acres of land. Like, he's trying to actually create a change to make things better for humans. Like, he's trying to create farms, feed people. He's trying to end world hunger. And if that's crazy, I guess. But if that's his manic episode, this is a man who's powerful and just trying to I think grow from it. And I think Kanye is misunderstood in that, and the way that he's pictured in the media just kind of portrays him a little crazier than he actually is. He's just a family man trying to do his thing.
I think that one last point I'm going to make on it is that I think that a lot of the issues here he's trying to solve, because I know a lot of different figures are very outspoken in politics, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the issues that Kanye's trying to solve aren't political. They're just world issues that we're dealing with.
See, I don't follow him to that extent, so...
he talks substantially about, like, these sorts of things. That's, like, his whole Joe Rogan, like, episode is him talking about how he's, like, trying to learn about, like, agriculture, growing food, making things more accessible for people. That's just, like, this new thing that he's on. That's his movement, and that's kind of, like... His thing. He's trying to promote better. I think that whole like he has this whole gospel movement in his thing, but that's just him finding kind of a better and more loving like perspective of the world instead of like his manic craziness that he.
I think so. Just because someone's crazy,
you're not gonna change my mind, but
whatever.
Regardless, it's now time to go from the deep.
Let's pull this up.
Let me check the YouTube. I'm. Okay, so I'll add this to the From the Deep section.
Oh, we do have some.
I apologize for the bullshit that I released last episode. I'm still learning, obviously. But I'll explain myself here. So, when you're editing the video, you can toggle as whatever is the preview panel. So I have the two camera angles, right? But they're both in there. So I can toggle one to shut off so it only shows one on the preview. And if I want to show the other one, I click the eye. It's like an eye icon. If the eye's closed, it's shut off. It's on, whatever. I didn't know that they both have to be on when you process the video for it to show up in the video. So the case was the main camera was on, but I had the secondary camera off. And it processed the video. And to my fault, I didn't preview the video because I previewed it as I was watching it. So I was like, oh, it's perfect. And then it wasn't. And there's also some issue that has carried on through the last 3 episodes where the first 3 seconds are like frozen or black. I still haven't solved that. I might look into a new editing software if I'm going to try to like shift everything over by 3 seconds, so maybe that first 3 seconds it doesn't do anything because it cuts out the first 3 seconds of the intro, and I like that because we missed the hands up and we're excited. So that's my fault. I'm gonna try to get that fixed. As I said, I'm learning. We've never claimed to be a professional podcast. This is something we're doing for fun. We just got a camera. We literally also, for the record, if you've noticed, hopefully we look different. That's because we invested in a brand new camera.
We did. And speaking of what you said, we aren't a professional podcast. But one of the comments, this is like an interesting one because it's not from the average. Some guy with 0 followers and 3 following. Promote it on _reality.
That's records. A bot. I saw that.
Yeah, but it does have 1 million. I'm
Wait,
just saying
what?
It as a joke. Reality Records has 1 million followers.
Shouts out to Reality Records if you're listening to this.
Reality Records.
Send over.
Wait,
give us some promo.
I didn't look at that.
Look, this guy's thrown off. Yeah, well.
Okay, but this could be some bot that's like.
Here, give it to me. I don't really. Well, I mean, whatever.
We would probably have to pay.
I was gonna make a joke out of it, but whatever. Ario.Maui, typical in the comments.
He's been active.
Oh, he's got the blockchain with the fucking.
That's what I said last episode.
Yeah. And then another comment, he put the emojis, skull and bones. You know what I'm talking about.
Do we have any comments?
Deep.
0 comments.
George Bush.
That's fine. What's our subscriber count now? That's big.
11.
Nice.
We're at 11 subs?
We're up to 11.
50. Wait, where do you see that? Oh, okay, right there. 11 subs.
Get us to 50.
We were at 7 last week?
Yeah.
So by the end of this year, we should have 50.
Yeah, that's the hope. But that's it for
the episode. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Too Deep Podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in as per usual.
There you go.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Thank you, Cebs, for joining the podcast. First guest of season 6. More to come. You'll have to find out. Follow us on Instagram at 2Deep Podcast.
We'll
see you next week.